All right. So next we got Jerome. He's going to tell us what's beyond messaging on XMPP. Take it away.
Hi everybody, and first of all, thank you for being present at this time. I know it's difficult on Sunday, so thank you. My name is Jérôme Poisson. I'm working during day on the free software for journalists in a Czech company. And by night, I become an XMPP developer, and I work on XMPP clients. So we have 20 minutes together, and I will try to convince you that XMPP is not only an instant messaging protocol, and it can do a really large panel of things. Let's start with some common criticism. XMPP, I've seen some kind of XMPP bashing lastly, like during the last few months or years. And these arguments are coming quite often. So XMPP is supposed to be too old, or it's bad because it's XML, or it's supposed to be not web technology friendly, and it's supposed to be too extensible. So let's start with the first one, which I don't really understand, but people think that something, when it's old, we have to throw it out. Actually, it's quite the opposite, in my opinion. XMPP celebrates this year its 20th birthday, and it's still here, it's still working, it's stable, so it's actually more good sign, and it means that it's rock solid and you can use it. I have written some technology which we would have to throw before XMPP because they are too old. So I guess if we get rid of this technology, we would have some trouble without HTTP or TCP/IP. And okay, maybe for some of them it will be good, JavaScript, for instance. Okay, the second one is XMPP is bad because it's XML, and XML is not JSON, and JSON is really so great. So I took this example directly for the RFC standard, and as you can see, there is not much useless data, actually. And it's quite usable. I'm working with it nearly every day, and I can tell you it's really no problem to work with it. Today, we have really good XML parser. I'm using Python, and there is LXML, which is really performant. Also, we have some encryption extensions, so on the wire is not big, so that's good. And most of all, in XML, there is something that doesn't exist in namespace in JSON, and which is really great. It's the namespaces, and it's used actually for the extensibility, and it's really a major feature of XML. XMPP is supposed to be not web technology friendly. This is absolutely false. The first proof of that is that there are web technologies which are explained in the standard. For instance, there is a RFC which explains how to use XMPP with WebSockets. There is some extension which explains how to use WebRTC with XMPP. It's done by some client. We have some pure browser, pure JavaScript module without even needing to have a server, which are working great. We have some web-only client, Converse or JSXA. And even if you use the backend will do most of the XML things, and will communicate with JSON, for instance, or WebSocket with the front end. So XMPP is absolutely web technology friendly, and there is no issue to use it with web technology. Okay, the last one, which is actually the main subject of today, is XMPP is supposed to be too extensible. Actually, XMPP is managing different use cases. So there is chat messaging, but there is also blogging, file sharing, video, and this is really different fields. And that's the reason why we need extensibility. But we have a really good discovery mechanism. If you talk to a server or to another client, we can detect the feature which are handled by the other entity and adapt to the feature. We have seen that it has been useful also for evolution. 20 years ago, nobody would imagine that today everybody will use XMPP on a mobile phone with new constraints on battery life, on unstable network. And XMPP has shown that it has been able to be used, and it's working really well nowadays on mobiles. And we have a really large ecosystem which can work together. There are a lot of XMPP clients which are working together. And also, the community has been done some move to try also to mitigate the issue of different features. Every year there is a compliance suite. Like if you want today to create a new XMPP client, you have a list of the most important XEP. XEP is for XMPP Extension Protocol, and it's the extension of XMPP. So the list of major XEP you have to implement to have a modern client. And also, lastly, we have seen a compliant tester for server. You can run it on your server. You will have a mark and like the major XEP that you have or you are missing, and the step to fix that. Okay, but the extensibility of XMPP is this major strength, and actually it's the reason why I am personally using XMPP. So the idea is like X XEP, so X extension, is doing one thing and is doing it well. So if it rings some bell, it's the same thing as a Unix technology, as a Unix philosophy. And so far it has proved to be quite a good philosophy. So when there is a new extension, somebody is proposing it, and we are discussing it on a standard mailing list, and it's public, and we have different people with different backgrounds, server, video, chat, etc., with pertinent remarks, and we hopefully are trying to select the best technical option each time for a new feature. So it's actually wrong to see XMPP as a whole thing and just an instant messaging thing, but it's actually a collection of different technology which are coherent, which are collaborating and working together gracefully. So this is really the way you should see XMPP. It's not something like unique, but it's really a mix of different things collaborating. So let's have a look at two of the major XMPP extensions. The first one is Jingle. Jingle is known for being used for video conferencing. It's what is behind Jitsi Meet, for instance, if you know it. But it's actually a way to establish a stream session. When you have two devices, it's to create a stream, and if it's possible, it will be peer-to-peer. If it's not possible, you will find another way to create the stream. It's also a way to manage the stream. So if you are on a phone and your connection, you change your connection from Wi-Fi to 3G or 4G, Jingle allows you to adapt it. And you have also other things like encryption, like you can have, you can say, I want this stream to be encrypted, and yeah, it will manage this. So it is used, so of course for video, but also for file sharing. It's used in games, if you want to communicate between your client and server, etc. The other one is PubSub. PubSub is short for Publish Subscribe. It's a way actually to send data to a service. The service will manage it, and if you can subscribe to this service, and this means that you will be notified if something changes. For instance, the data has been modified, deleted, or a new data is present, so you will get notified for that. So you use the term nodes and items. If you compare to, it's kind of the database of XMPP. So if you compare to SQL, a node will be the table and items will be the row. If you compare to something like MongoDB, node will be the collection and items will be the document. So it's actually a kind of decentralized database based on XMPP. It's the observer pattern. There is a handling of permission system. So you can, you have a role, and depending on the role, you know if you can read or write on a node, and that's really helpful. And it's also extensible, so if you want to do search, for instance, you can use another extension which is called Message Archive Management, and you can do full text search, for instance, or search. We use it on blogging to search for tags, for instance. So yes, that's also something really useful. So some example of how you can use XMPP. So the first one is file sharing. When I'm talking about file sharing, I'm not talking about just sending a file on a chat room, but about sharing like a world directory to some devices. So imagine that you are with your phone, and you take pictures during the day or a video, and you go back home and you want to transfer this video to your desk computer. You have nothing to do. XMPP will handle everything. You have one client on the desktop, one on the mobile phone, and you can access your picture, download it if you need, or the video. The other way, it will be peer-to-peer, because you are in your local area network, so it will establish a peer-to-peer connection, and your data will not go to a server on another continent, like it will be the case for Dropbox, for instance. It will go directly from one device to the other device. The other way to use it is using components. In this case, it's something similar to OWN or Nextcloud or Dropbox, like you push your files on a service, and it will be available for other people or other devices. And there's a new extension about using OMEMO encryption with Jingle. So in this case, you will have end-to-end encryption in addition to what I have said. An extension of file sharing is using it for photo album. So we still use the base. That's the point of XMPP. We always reuse existing technology. We try to not reinvent the wheel. So for photo album, it's a specialization of file sharing. And we just use a filter saying, OK, I just want video or just want images. We use another extension which manages thumbnails. So instead of downloading a whole several megabyte image, you will have a small one. And we are using blogging that we see just after to see to use comments. So this is screenshots of photo album handled by XMPP with some commands. So because it's XMPP, it's decentralized, it's federating, and it's neat. About blogging, it's a combination of another standard, which is Atom. I guess you know it. It's something similar to RSS. It's used to describe a blog. And yes, because we try also to use other standards when they exist, and we just combine that with PubSub. You can see it on the XEP 0277. And yeah, it's quite easy, it's quite functional. There are two clients nowadays doing it, like Movim and Saluator is the one on which I'm working. So this is a screenshot of Blog Engine, once again decentralized and federating. Forum is another extension of blogging. When you use PubSub to have a hierarchy, the way you go the way you want, and after you go inside the forum and you set your node in a way that anybody can publish inside. And this is a screenshot of a forum made with XMPP. Okay, another one is Ticket. Ticket is actually just associating another extension, which is called Dataform, which is a way to putting data type on your item. For instance, you're saying this field is a title, so it's a string. This field is a priority, it's an int. This field is a date, etc. And you use one ticket, one item per ticket. So this is a screenshot of our ticket handling. So we have bug report and feature request. It's because for some ideological reason we are not on GitHub. So we do this, and it's once again decentralized and federating, and I'm not sure if there is any other decentralized ticket handler at the moment. And also the system is very flexible, so it could be used for other things, like a shopping list, for instance. You just change the fields you want to use. Or a to-do list. It could be used for a to-do list, or actually any kind of list. And if you take Ticket and you just extend it a little bit, you can have merge requests. So what is merge request? It's just a ticket where you have one of the fields which is used to have a blob, which will be all the patch you want to merge to a project. This is a screenshot of a merge request done by XMPP. So we have the basis of a decentralized code forge made on XMPP, which I think it's quite cool. Another thing is events. Event is the same thing as in Meetup or Facebook. Like you just have an image, a date, some information, and People can go and use PubSub again and say, I will come, I will not come, maybe I will come. And yeah, that's it, you know what it is. So this is a screenshot of events. The design is not wonderful, but yeah, you see you have the list of guests and the image. Okay, this is the last one. So we are not talking about Jingle and PubSub anymore, but just two other quite cool extensions you can thing you can do with XMPP. First one is HTTP authentication. The idea there is you go on a website, you don't want to create an account, you just enter your Jabber ID, which is your identifier. On your phone, you will get a message saying this website want to authenticate with a code to check. Yes, no, and that's it. So that's quite easy. It starts to be handled by a couple of clients. So if you make a website, it would be nice to use it. The other one is universal remote control. The idea is we have another extension which is managing generic commands, a kind of XML RPC or something similar, but based on XMPP. And we just associate this with M3, which is a free desktop specification, which is done to control a media player like VLC and PV or etc. So if you have a mobile, you can just get on your couch and control your media player thanks to XMPP. Something a bit similar to KDE Connect. That's it for the talk. Now we have some room if you have any question. Some useful links. So the first one is a list of official extensions. So if you want to look deeper into the one I've mentioned or other one, you can check there. You can find the links to the libraries I've mentioned in this there. This is a link for our project. So this is the official website, some demo. I kind of had the bad idea to upload to update just before FOSDEM, so it's kind of broken right now, but in a couple of days it should be all right. And this is my personal blog where I'm talking a lot about experimentation we are doing with XMPP and take sometimes some technical background and explaining how we do. Also, if by any chance you are living in Germany or around or able to move, in March we will have a sprint in Berlin, and even if you are absolutely new to XMPP, you are more than welcome. And if you want to learn a bit more about it or to try to do something with that, it's a good occasion to do that. So thank you for attending, and if you have any question.
We have time for some questions. If anybody has a question, I'll pass on the mic. Anybody?
With the XMPP, so as a background, I did some work with XMPP. Now I'm more with C, but that was a long time ago. For the mobile apps, are there some optimization to save the library? Because you presented some extensions here, but you know, in the way of like this push notification mechanism that you can use, or you know, some optimization for the mobile world, to put it.
So yes, we have different extensions for mobile. The first one is push, because on some platform like iOS, you have to go through the Apple push mechanism. So it's way with privacy in mind. So you don't send the message, you just say, hey, there is something new, please wake up my client and I will handle the real stuff. We have also something which is called stream management. It's a way to say if you are in a subway, for instance, your connection is getting bad, it will try to reopen without doing the wall connection things. We have client state indication when you say when you don't see your front end, this app is sleeping, so just send me volume measure messages, and beside that, I don't want to waste the bandwidth. And so yes, we have these kind of things, and it's really efficient. If you try some mobile client, it's really efficient nowadays.
Okay. Other questions? No?
Okay, so thank you for attending.